Today, we are talking about getting paid fast. I'm super excited to join you guys today because I want to make sure that you are getting the money that you're owed. And I want to make sure that that's happening as quickly and as effortlessly as possible. So let's talk about how we're going to make that happen. Now, number one, this is not the effortless part, but the first step I'd recommend, and it sounds very elementary, create your invoices, get them out the door, send them out. That's A1, number one. That's how we're going to get paid, right? But let's talk about the effortless part. Once you've got invoices, how are you going to get that money? Now, this is going to be huge for people that actually meet their clients in person with some regularity. So, for example, if you're a criminal defense attorney and you're meeting your clients in court a lot, if you are working with your clients in a closing, when you're working with people in person, this can be really, really helpful because it's going to give you the opportunity to get paid and collect that payment that much faster. Okay. And the way we're going to do that is from our iPhone or from our Android. We're going to do that in the Clio app. So please join me. I'm going to hop on over to the screen here and we're going to look at that Clio app. And if you look at the app in the lower right corner, right next to my picture, right there, you're going to see the little bills tab. And if you have a bill that's already been created in Clio, then it's going to show up there and you're going to want to collect your money from that, right? So I bring up the bill. Let's say in this situation, I'm going to look at the bill that is due for number 9 for $100. I click on it, it comes up. You'll see in the lower right, there's this new payment option where I can go ahead and add a payment to that invoice. So let's say I'm in person with my client. Hey, client, how are you doing? Great. You want me to appear in court? I'm going to need that invoice to be paid. Yes, absolutely. Here's my credit card or here's my payment. I'd love to give it to you. I can click on new payment. And when I do that, it gives me the option to either tap to pay, which is awesome, by the way, or to give them a QR code. So let's look at the QR code first. If I do that, it presents this QR code that will allow my client to snap that picture with their phone, get that QR code, click on the QR code, go straight to their invoice and enter their payment information. So that is really, really helpful. We don't have to email them the invoice or anything like that. Just a quick QR code that is specific to that invoice that will apply that payment to that invoice. Fantastic. Okay. Keep in mind, by the way, in order for this to work, you do have to be using Clio. You do have to have the Clio app on your phone, and you do have to be using Clio payments. So make sure all of that's in place so that you can take advantage of these quick payment options. Next up, let's say that I don't want to use that QR code. My client's got their phone with Google Pay or their credit card or something nearby that they can tap to pay. And so let's click on new payment again. We're going to click on tap to pay. Now, keep in mind, the very first time you do this, there will be some buttons that you have to click in order to initiate these settings, right? But once you do that the first time, it will apply for all of your Clio users. You don't have to, every attorney doesn't have to do it. Just one person has to do it, the administrator of the account, and it'll be set up for everyone else. So when we click on it, I've already gone through that setup process. I'm going to click on tap to pay. Again, I'm going to click on tap to pay. By the way, I can put in a description if I want to, but I'm going to go ahead and click on tap to pay. And when I do that, now it's initiating the ability for me to accept that payment from my client. So we'll give that just a second to pop up on the screen here. And again, especially, obviously if you're working with your clients remotely and you want to email them a bill or text them a link or something like that, that's fantastic. But these are the payment options that I find to be the best, easiest, and quickest, usually, when meeting my clients in person and trying to collect that payment. Because again, I would never want to be in a situation where I'm talking to my client in person and I say, you know what, I'm so sorry. Let me have my assistant reach out to you to get that payment. No, if they're there, ready, willing, able to pay, absolutely, I'm going to want to collect that payment ASAP. This is taking a second, isn't it? Oh, you know what? Sorry. It actually is showing up on my phone. Unfortunately, the screen share is not displaying it, but it does show up on my phone. In fact, I'll show that right here to the camera. Let's switch over here. It did not take that long. it just simply didn't show up on the screen share. So on my phone, you can see that it's giving me the opportunity to here now have my client tap their credit card or their cell phone and accept that payment of $100. So again, super, super easy to collect payment using these methods. If you haven't tried it yet, you are wasting time and money, in my opinion. So set these up, get them rolling, show your team how to use them so that you can waste less time collecting payments and more time representing your clients. Thanks for joining me today. If you've got questions, join us on Streamline Legal Plus, where we're talking about these issues day in and day out. Have a great evening.